Hey guys, welcome back. You are on day 2 today of your online VBS craft experience. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to introduce you to our craft today, tell you the items that you need. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you a little secret. This word that we're making and that we need in our craft supplies, I can barely say it, so I'm gonna try. First of all, you're gonna grab your little baggie with your supplies, and it says day 2, and we're going to grab our thaumatrope pictures. What in the world is thaumatrope? I don't even know, but let me tell you, they're these guys right here. You recognize these pictures from your story today. So you're gonna grab these 2 sheets. You're going to grab the gray tissue paper piece. You're gonna grab your dowel rods. These are basically, what that means is longer toothpicks. That's what they look like. And then your little baggie of sand, your scissors, your tape, colored pencils. Mine has erasers because sometimes I make a mistake when I'm coloring. And if you wanna grab your Bojangles Sweet Tea like I have here, shout out to the Bojangles. That always helps me color better. All right, so make sure that you have all of your supplies laid out and ready. I'll give you a few seconds right now to go grab all the things you need. Remember to get that tape. You need that glue, the tissue paper, the dowel rods, all of this. Go ahead, get it out, get it laid out and ready to go. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so on your paper, it actually says that step 1 should be to do the gluing of the sand and the tissue paper first, but I'm doing the opposite. You don't have to do what I do, but I think it's easier. So what I'm gonna do first is go ahead and color our pictures. So the first one I've already started coloring. This is when the foolish man, we'll talk about the foolish man in a second at the end, but you've heard that story today, how he built his house on the sand. So I'm coloring, and I've even added a little blue to my sand. Now the great thing about this, guys, is you see I've even come outside of the lines. That's okay because we're gonna be cutting this circle out. So just make sure that you're coloring. If you go outside of the lines, it's okay. Just take your time and have fun with it. Okay guys, so my pictures are all colored. Like I said before, you can see that I even colored outside of the lines. It's okay, you're just having fun with it. So what we're gonna do now is take our scissors, and you can see right here, there's a black line all the way around. We're gonna do our best to cut out a circle. So let's see how we do. And then I'm gonna teach you a trick. Okay, so here is me quickly cutting out the first circle. Okay, now let me show you something. Here's your first circle. You can see this is where I cut it out. Do you see where it says B1? This is B1. So just grab one of your colored pencils on the back and write B1 on the back. You see how I did that? Because we're gonna need to know that step later and we're cutting it off. So go ahead and make sure that you cut it out and then write the number, which you'll find right here on the back of what you color, so that you'll know that for our steps later in our directions. Hey, okay guys, we're back. Now we've come to the fun part. It also doesn't tell you to do this, but if you guys have mamas, I'm a mama, you may want to get like a little cutting board mat or a paper towel, because this is the fun part. This is where you're gonna get a little messy. So if you don't wanna mess up the counter and make a mess, make sure you lay your circles on top of something. Here I've just used a small cutting board, a little flexible mat. Okay, now you're going to need your little baggie of sand. You're gonna need your little piece of tissue paper, and then go ahead and have your dowels. Remember, these are our giant little toothpicks here that kind of look like, have that, and then have some tape and glue ready to go. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the tissue paper. And the directions say you're just gonna tear small pieces. Okay, well first, I'm gonna tear a big piece, right? It's okay again if we're making mess. So you're just gonna tear pieces. This is fun. You just get to rip things up. So if you're a kid, I know you love ripping things up. You're like my dog Nugget. She just loves to rip things up. Well, we're not gonna eat them. We're just gonna rip them up, okay? So you're gonna have nice chunks of tissue paper. We're just tearing them up. There's no need to be neat. In fact, you wanna kind of be as messy as possible. Okay, so you can see my little mountain of tissue here. And then you're gonna take the little pieces of tissue and just crumple them up, almost like you're gonna throw them at someone, and you're gonna kind of wad them up. If you wanna just get it all done together, you're just gonna kind of squeeze them and kind of wad them up. You can do that individually or you can do that as a group, okay? So you're just gonna kind of crinkle them up together just so they're kind of not straight pieces, but they're ripped and kind of, you can see that texture there, all crumply, okay? And if it comes apart a little bit, it's okay. All right, and then what you're going to do is you have your pile of tissue. Now, I didn't do a whole lot. If you wanted to use this whole sheet, you're welcome to, but for time, I'm just gonna use these little pieces. What you're gonna do is take these little pieces and take your glue stick and your circles here, all right? Now, I have a brand new glue stick, but if you have old glue, you could also use squeeze glue. Squeeze glue would work. You're gonna take it here and you're going to put the glue on the bottom. So this is A1, okay? It says glue to the bottom of A1 and A2. Remember, we know that because we wrote it on the back, right? So we're just gonna take our glue. My glue's purple. Just, I wanted it a different color so you could see it. And put it there on the, well, try not to glue them together like I did. And then you set the glue stick aside and you just start sticking these little pieces of tissues to your A1. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just supposed to look crumply, okay? And they can be hanging off the edge. That would kind of look cool. I think the messier it looks, kind of the cooler it looks. So you just get that and just kind of stick it. The glue stick is there. It's gonna hold it if you use squeeze glue. You might have to push it down for a little bit. I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes you like to get that glue on your hands and then peel it off. Okay, so look at here. And then it looks like this. So we've got our A1 and our A2 done. Okay, we're gonna set those aside. And now what we're gonna do is grab B1 and B2 and do the same thing, except we are going to be using sand. So we're going to put the glue, again, glue stick or squeeze glue, whatever you happen to have, at the bottom. Okay, now I would probably put a little extra glue stick or a little extra squeeze glue. We know that sand is tiny, so you really want to kind of get in there and coat that glue stick, right? And then don't forget to put your cap on because we're going to use this glue stick in our other craft days. And then just open your baggie. Now, you could do it one of two ways. You can be like nice and neat and pour it on there. No, I don't want to do it that way. I like to pretend it's snowing sand, and I just grab like a little kind of grip of sand and just sprinkle it on top, almost like it's icing, putting sprinkles on an ice cake, and just kind of, and if you make a mess, you're gonna get it all over your paper. It's all right, okay? I wouldn't recommend dumping the whole bag on there because then you're just gonna have a really big mess, but some of you people might wanna do that, that's okay too. You definitely wanna coat that glue, okay? So now look, you can see I kind of have a little bit of mess, and you can just kind of take your fingers and rub it into the glue. Just rub it into the glue. Now, when you pick it up, make sure you pick it up over that little spot where you have your cutting board or your paper towels. And see, look, the sand stuck to it. Looks good, okay, right? So you have your pieces. What you're gonna do is turn them over so that you can see A1 and A2 and B1 and B2. Pick up your tape. Any tape will work, even if you have washi tape. And you're going to take your dowel rod here and you're gonna put it in the middle of your paper, right? So make sure that it's laying down flat. You put it there and you're gonna put A2 over top of it. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. We wanna tape our dowel rod to A1. And then I don't know if you need help doing this, but I'm gonna make my I'm gonna take my tape and fold it. You might have your parents come in and help you do that so that they stick together. And you're gonna just attach a 2 right on top. Now see, I've lost some, it's okay. And you're gonna do the same thing to B1. You're gonna tape your dowel rod or your little stick here together. And then you're gonna pop these little folded pieces of tape on the back and stick it on the top. And it may not be perfectly even, that's okay. And then what you're gonna do is take your little sticks and a good old piece of tape and you're gonna tape them together. Now the question is, can I do this without like taping my hands together? We'll see. I should have practiced this before. But you're gonna tape your little dowel rods together, okay? So now you've taped them together. You can see we've got the tissue paper and the sand. Now what's really cool is if you think back to the story that we heard today, we know that God is the source of all wisdom, right? We know that that's why we go to his word, to get his wisdom and to hear from God, right? So let's say together the bottom line that you guys learned today. You can hear from God, okay? So just like he could hear from God. Now this is so cool. What you're gonna do now, you've got your sticks taped together and you can go through the story of the wise man who built his house on the sand, and you can see it, how his house is gonna fall on the sand. But if you turn it this way, you can see, look, this is awesome. You just roll it between your hands and you can tell your friends and your parents the story. You have made a thaumatrope. Good job, guys.